Report. I'm Arjun Samar Mahendran, and here's what's making headlines around the world. PM Modi has spoken to Nepal's interim Prime Minister Sushila Kirk and expressed sorrow over the violence that rocked the Himalayan nation. He said, and I'm quoting here, had a warm conversation with Mrs. Sushila Kirk, Prime Minister of the interim government of Nepal, conveyed heartfelt condolences on the recent tragic loss of lives and reaffirmed India's steadfast support for her efforts to restore peace and stability. When the US ABC has pulled late-night host Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely over comments he made about the shooting of right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. The network, which Disney, by the way, owns, announced on Wednesday night that it would remove Kimmel's show from its schedule for the foreseeable future. Indefinitely is the word that the network has used. Donald Trump later called the move great news for America and congratulated the network for its courage in a social media post. We get you all the latest reactions, followed by my colleague Priyanka Deo unpacking this still escalating controversy.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
We're just about to walk in. Interestingly enough, they waited to pull the plug on this right as the studio audience was about to walk in. It wasn't like this morning or last night. They waited for everyone to come into work today, They didn't tell us what had happened. They just said that the show was canceled. Initially, my concern was, I hope everyone's okay, no one got injured.
First, a way the nation is being divided is just the political polarization that has happened. Conservatives see Kimmel's remarks as part of a long-running trend in late-night shows skewing heavily left, targeting conservative figures and amplifying anti-MAGA narratives. They also view the suspension as evidence that conservative voices are underrepresented and vulnerable to bias. Now, liberals, on the other hand, are defending Kimmel as exercising free speech and political commentary, arguing that hosts have a right to criticize and critique public figures, especially in sensitive contexts. Both sides here have a point. The division also stems from how people view the balance between comedy, commentary, and respect for tragedy. Conservatives emphasize that Kimmel weaponized humor for partisan purposes, while others stress that satire has always been politically pointed and should be protected under the right of free speech. This controversy also amplifies skepticism about media objectivity overall. Some see mainstream media networks as enforcing a very left-leaning agenda, while others perceive regulatory pressure as necessary to curb potentially misleading commentary. The other factor here is just the demographics of America. Younger audiences are actually very highly accustomed to highly opinionated late night programming and may see this as very normal, whereas older viewers may feel that shows have abandoned pure comedy for political messaging, which is true whether late night shows lean left or lean right. So this cultural expectation gap feeds further division. Media is definitely reacting to suspension. Outlets like ABC, CBS, and NBC affiliates report the suspension factually, emphasizing the controversy, regulatory comments, and audience reactions. They also focus on statements from ABC, Disney, FCC Chair Brendan Carr, who is a Trump appointee, and Nexstar affiliates. And some news outlets frame this as a free speech debate, while others highlight Kimmel's remarks as insensitive over Charlie Kirk's death. Conservative-leaning outlets are using this incident to criticize and critique late-night hosts for a very left-leaning bias, for corporate overreach, and the chilling effect on political commentary. They argue that this demonstrates a pattern of liberal commentary going unchecked, while conservative viewpoints are often criticized or silenced. That's the root of their argument. Social media platforms like X and Threads have also erupted with debate over this incident. Hashtags criticizing Kimmel trend among conservative voices, while liberal commentators and citizens defend the host's right to satire. The discussion underscores just the broader polarization that has happened online. Some commentators are framing this as a turning point for comedy and media, and I agree with them, highlighting just how far political commentary has overtaken entertainment, pure comedy, just entertainment comedy in late night programming. Others warn that FCC involvement or corporate preemptions create a precedent for self-censorship as well.
Stay with the U.S. where Tyler Robinson, the Utah man charged with assassinating Charlie Kirk, was afraid of being shot by police and agreed to surrender as long as it was done peacefully. The sheriff involved with taking him into custody has said. Now, Robinson appeared quiet and somber when he turned himself in with his parents last Thursday at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Now, that came a day after Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University, said Sheriff Nate Brooksby. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, prosecutors charged the 22-year-old Robinson with capital murder and also announced that they will seek the death penalty. Listen in.
For a peaceful, gentle, comfortable transition for him to come out. Again, he knew he was going to get caught. He didn't want a big SWAT team hitting his parents' house or his apartment. He was truly fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So that the conditions were as relaxed and comfortable and almost to the point of, inviting. And if at the end of the day we accomplish him surrendering peacefully on his own, I'm gonna make some concessions to make that happen.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama has addressed the recent killing of Charlie Kirk. He said that the country was, and I quote here, at an inflection point, but that political violence is not new. He also added that this has happened at certain periods in U.S. history or America's history. Obama furthermore said that despite history, political violence was anathema to what it means to be a democratic country. Now, the former president also explicitly denounced political violence, addressing the fatal attacks this year of Kirk and the Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman. He called both incidents a tragedy and said Donald Trump had further divided the country rather than working to bring people together and making America great again, as he has been claiming. Meanwhile, a deadly tragedy has unraveled in Pennsylvania's York County. Viewers, 3 police officers were killed and 2 others critically injured in a shooting in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. What were they doing while they were following up on a domestic-related investigation, authorities have said. Now, the incident occurred just after 2 p.m. when gunfire broke out. The suspected shooter has also been killed. State police, meanwhile, say the wounded officers are critical but in stable condition. Here's Bob.
This is an absolutely tragic and devastating day for York County and for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We grieve for the loss of life for 3 precious souls who served this county, served this Commonwealth, and served this country.
Across the English Channel in the UK, King Charles has praised President Donald Trump for his peace efforts at the United Kingdom's state dinner. He highlighted that the president, or Trump in this case, is committed to finding solutions to global conflicts. Now, the King also said that the US and UK are in fact standing together to support Ukraine amid the war with Russia, also acknowledging the other allies they are working with. Trump said to this, and the King in fact was seated next to each other at a 155-foot-long table at St. George's Hall, which also included US officials such as Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and also top business leaders like media mogul Rupert Murdoch and Apple CEO Tim Cook. Here's what King Charles III said meanwhile.
Our countries are working together in support of crucial diplomatic efforts, not least of which, Mr. President, is your own personal commitment to finding solutions to some of the world's most intractable conflicts in order to secure peace.
When the Middle East, protesters dressed in white with blood representing hostages killed during the war in Gaza gathered near Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem Wednesday evening. Now, the protesters held a banner, as you see on your screens right now, reading, "This is Sparta," a reference to Netanyahu's speech earlier in the week in which he referred to protesters as Super Sparta. Now, Sparta is a Greek city, for perspective, historically famed for its militaristic society and warrior ethos. Michael Illis, a father of hostage Guy Illis, whose body is believed to be held in Gaza, laid down on the ground next to the protests in white, vowing not to compromise until his son's body is returned to Israel for burial. We get you more.
התחננתי, התחנפתי, הייתי ממלכתית, הייתי תוקפנית, התפללתי, וכך נלחמות כל המשפחות. ואיפה הממשלה הזאת? למה בתוך הפחד הקיצוני, העצב והייסורים, אנחנו צריכים לנהל קרב על הצלת והשבת היקרים שלנו?
Pakistan and Saudi Arabia on Wednesday signed a new defense agreement under which the two sides said an attack on either of them would be considered, and I'm quoting here, an aggression against both. In response to Saudi-Pak Defense Pact, Ministry of External Affairs has said that we've seen reports of the signing of a strategic mutual defense pact between Saudi and Pakistan. The government was aware that this development, which formalizes a long-standing arrangement between the two countries, had been under consideration. At a time when New Delhi is taking one step in dealing with US administration under President Donald Trump, the European Union has announced a new strategic agenda to raise bilateral relations with India to a higher level. Yes, this includes a range of areas, be it trade, be it technology, even defense, security, connectivity, and climate change, to name a few. India will start pilot projects in Venezuela in priority areas like agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and digital public infrastructure. Now, this is what officials in New Delhi conveyed to the Vice Minister for the Development of Information and Communication Technologies of Venezuela, who paid a 4-day visit to India that wrapped up on the 17th. Oh, in Europe, Denmark is leading a military exercise with hundreds of troops from several European NATO members in Greenland. It's a maneuver that coincides with months of tensions over the Trump administration's desire for US jurisdiction over the vast Arctic territory. The Arctic Light 2025 exercises, as they're called, which follows maneuvers with identical or similar titles in previous years, involves more than 550 service members from Denmark and NATO allies France, Germany, Sweden, and Norway. On Wednesday, Danish, French, and German soldiers, in fact, trained infiltrating an enemy base by helicopter near the Kangerlussuaq in western Greenland. We get you more.
Two aspects that's challenging. The first is that there's no real infrastructure, so we need to move everything by boat or by air, and that makes it very difficult to resupply the company. The other thing is that there's a lot of hills and altitude meters, and that means that it's very hard for my soldiers to carry all their stuff on their back. It takes a long time to move from A to B by foot.
Hundreds of tourists stranded on their way to Machu Picchu queued on Wednesday morning, waiting for the noon train in Ollantaytambo, where they were left without an opportunity to visit Peru's landmark archaeological site. Now, while they waited for their turn to board a train inside, some 900 were still being evacuated from Aguas Calientes, the closest town to Machu Picchu. The company, by the way, operating the railroad, said later on Wednesday that it had restarted operations. Here's more.
Nosotros teníamos tickets para hoy día. La agencia nos indicó que vayamos a la estación porque hay la posibilidad que de repente puede salir el tren, pero como lamentablemente no hay ninguna autoridad que defiende los intereses del turista, no va a haber trenes hoy día, parece.
As time we slip into a short break, much more lined up on the other side. Don't you go anywhere.
Getting out and about isn't as easy as it used to be. HF. That's why I love Wiltshire Farm Foods meals. It means I've always got something tasty in the freezer. And with £5 off your first order, you too can enjoy delicious ready meals with free delivery straight to your door. Just call or go online for a free brochure and they'll send you a £5 voucher too. Wiltshire Farm Foods, that home-cooked taste, delivered. Now with £5 off your first order.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Welcome back. You're watching this Thursday edition of the World Report. We get you updates from the world of business, where it seems like a terrible time to build an electric vehicle plant in the United States. But Rivian automotive leaders say they're confident as the company starts long-delayed work on a $5 billion facility in Georgia. Now, the money-losing California-based company broke ground Tuesday east of Atlanta despite President Donald Trump's successful push to roll back the EV tax mandate. Starting September 30th, buyers will no longer qualify for savings of up to $7,500 per car. The Georgia plan, first announced in 2021, is the company's key to reaching profitability. Now the company makes the high-end R1T pickup trucks and the R1S SUV in Normal, Illinois, as well as the delivery vans for Amazon and other companies. Meanwhile, its truck prices start at $71,000. Casper.
Not been something that has been without challenges. And so we've worked through those, and we wanted to be in a very strong position for this day. For when we start construction, these are not the kinds of things you start without having clear sight to be able to fully finish and launch.
We stay with the U.S., where the Federal Reserve's first interest rate cut in nearly a year is poised to ripple across the European economy, fueling short-term market gains while also intensifying export headwinds, according to European policy analyst Philip Lausberg. The U.S. Federal Reserve, or the Fed as it's known, on Wednesday decided to lower the target range for the federal funds interest rate by 25 basis points to 4 to 4.25%. Now, it's the first rate cut since 2024 December, according to a statement by the Federal Open Market Committee, or the FOMC, the principal monetary policy-making body of the Federal Reserve System, after a policy meeting. Listen in.
We've seen whenever the Federal Reserve cuts rates, European markets tend to perform quite well in the next 3 to 6 months or so. And this is because, first of all, you have more liquidity that can be invested, and at the same time, yields for US assets tend to go down. So it's for investors who are seeking higher profits, it makes sense to branch out to other markets, including, of course, the European market.
According to a report, Major League Soccer's biggest star might be just sticking around. This as Lionel Messi is closing in on a multi-year contract extension with Inter Miami. As per the report, the sides are in the late stages of talks already, with merely minor matters left to be finalized. Financial terms weren't reported. Now, 38-year-old Messi joined Inter Miami during the 2023 season, and his contract, in fact, runs through the end of the 2025 campaign. Stacey Lewis, the former world #1 who captained the U.S. to victory at the 2024 Solheim Cup, will retire from the Ladies Professional Golf Association at the end of the current season, the 2025 season. That is, the 40-year-old Lewis, who counts 2 major amongst her 13 wins on tour and twice earned Player of the Year honors, said in a social media post ahead of this week's LPGA event in Arkansas that her body has told me it's time. And finally, Bollywood's Badshah built an empire in front of the camera. Now his son is trying to build one behind it. Yes, it's Aryan Khan's first OTT series and it's dropping today. And who better to decode the moment than Mahesh Bhatt, the man who has actually seen Shah Rukh Khan's journey up close. We leave you with this report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
नजरें झुका के शर्मा के गलियों से गुजरती थी और अचानक एक ट्रक आया और उसे कुचल कर चला गया। थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया ना? आदत डाल लो क्योंकि मेरा शो भी थोड़ा ज्यादा।
He's the Badshah of Bollywood. His son, the maker of the bads of Bollywood. Today, it's Aryan's turn in the spotlight. Veteran filmmaker Mahesh Bhatt, who directed SRK in Chahat and Duplicate, breaks down the pressure cooker that Aryan is stepping into.
I think there is a pressure which is around the person and the family. He is a person who has a status of a superstar and he's endured it for years. It's because of the metal that he has. And it's not something that you can borrow from your box office figures.
Bollywood is full of star kids who had access but not automatic success. From Nisha Deol to Abhishek Bachchan to Tushar Kapoor to Twinkle Khanna, big surnames didn't always mean big stardom. And Mahesh Bhatt says Aryan Khan's debut will be no different. He'll still have to face the industry's harshest reality.
I think that home with him there must have given him, the child, all the kind of mental support system to go out and there and face one irreversible, harsh truth which is applicable to all entertainers. All through time, this world hates failures and worships success.
Aryan's series may mirror his own journey, but like Bhatt says, even with access and a famous surname, Bollywood's battlefield is brutal and the trolls don't spare anyone, not even Shah Rukh Khan's son.
Anybody can come here and be embraced and rise to the dizzying height. He came from somewhere, just from Delhi with nothing but himself. So the child, if he has it, he will sparkle. Access is success. To get access is difficult, but that access doesn't guarantee you anything.
Aryan Khan's The Bads of Bollywood streams now on Netflix. Will the Badshah's son sparkle? Bollywood's watching.
Now that retirement's here, it's time for me to focus on the things that really matter in life, like making sure my family can manage funeral costs when I'm no longer around. Which reminds me,
welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
That money could help cover my funeral costs or be a gift for my grandson. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our UK team on 0800 881 5090 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
If Lubasi was your son, you'd do anything to stop his suffering. He's in agony because he has an eye infection called trachoma. It's often spread by flies, like these. If Lubasi was your son, you'd take him to the doctor. But his parents can't afford to get him the care he so desperately needs. You can. When you give £2 a month to Sightsavers, you can help save more children from agony like this and spare their parents the pain of watching their children suffer. Every month, you'll help our eye doctors get to some of the world's poorest and most remote villages. It's so simple to treat trachoma, but we urgently need your support to do it. So please call 0800 038 4920, text Site 10 to 82727, or go to sitesavers.tv to give £2 a month to Sitesavers right now.
Don't they grow up so fast? And sometimes the big life moments like a new home and a new school can be scary. Which reminds me, I don't want my family to worry about mortgage costs if the worst should happen. That's why I'm looking into Smart Family Life Insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. I could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
For even greater peace of mind, you'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 542 1775 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
When we say we're standing on a piece of history, I really mean it. We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship. She's called INS Udaygiri, and the reason why this is a piece of history is because for the first time the Indian Navy isn't just inducting this particular ship, but two ships of this kind. For the first time ever, two big warships are being commissioned into service together. Now, if that isn't history, what is? The Indian Navy, an incredible service, a navy that is respected the world over, welcomes these two beautiful ships into service today. And we are so honored, Vishnu and I. How lucky are we to have the commanding officers of both those ships standing with us here today? That's right, on Control All Defense, Captain Robin Chakravarti of INS Himgiri and Captain Vikas Sood of INS Udaygiri, the two newest warships, the pinnacle of warship construction. Incredibly proud day, Vishnu.
No, I remember, about 25 odd years back, Shiv, I was lucky enough to get on INS Delhi. And she was a stunning warship, still is. But you see that evolution over the decades to something like this, and to think that this design is entirely Indian, it's been built to an Indian requirement. First up, gentlemen, and Commodore, let me ask you first. You must be incredibly proud about this commissioning command. Tell us what that feels like for you.
We're standing on your ship right now.
Yeah, so it's an amazing feeling, I would say, because commissioning is like first of its kind. You set the traditions, you set the tone for the next 30 to 40 years of commission time. So it's a great honor that is bestowed.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of